You in the back. Move up front. Networking 101. Hey folks, a couple days ago I actually posted on my Facebook account, if you could pick any topic on Networking 101, what would you pick? And a couple of my Facebook VIPs, Goldie from India, Chelsea from the Philippines, and yeah, I guess even Dwayne from Germany, said, BGP, dude, that's what we want to see. And a bunch of other folks requested it, and I thought, hey man, this is actually a pretty cool topic, because BGP gets a rap of being pretty darn complex, and with good reason, right? BGP is one of those protocols that is so simple, it's also really complex. But you guys know I'm a history buff, right? So let me go ahead and explain a little bit of the history of what happens. You know, kind of way back in the day, you know, when the internet was just a young little cloud, a little Nimbus cloud here, and we just had a few sites to connect to. Hey, it's just like building a small network, right? We just use just a simple static route, and we'd define those up, and we'd connect any way we wanted. Piece of cake, right? But then, you know, like everything else, right? The internet grew, it got a whole lot bigger, and we started having more and more sites, and we needed something with a little bit more, you know, dynamicness to it. So then out of that type of need, another protocol was born called EGP. EGP was okay, right? But it wouldn't scale because the internet really quickly grew out of control. We started adding even more and more and more and more and more, and actually, you know, little dots like Carl Sagan, the little blue dot here. Our connection just went crazy. We needed something that was infinitely scalable, but also we needed something that was decentralized too, something that would be easy to kind of allow people to kind of set up and allow connections anywhere we wanted in the world. That's where BGP came from. BGP was born out of that need of massive scalability. Now, the first question you need to ask yourself, just like it says in the RFC, do you really need it? Do you really, really honestly need BGP in your network? Here's how to tell. If you're a big old company, let's say you're TechWiseTV.com, and we want our own company out here or our own presence on the internet, if you will, we're going to be connecting straight to a tier 1, oops, I spelled that wrong, tier 1 or tier 2 provider. And these are the big dogs, right? These are people like British Telecom. These are people like AT&T. These are people like Deutsche Telekom. I mean, these are our big dogs that are holding the pipe of the internet. And what we're going to do is we connect to them, but it's not like a simple IP address, right? It's like, oh, give me your default gateway and I'll set you up. It doesn't work like that. Since this is so scalable, and we're hosting, you know, hundreds of thousands of possible routes internally, what we want to do is we need something that transfers information in bulk. And so to transfer all that information in bulk, what we use is what's called an autonomous system number, ASN. ASNs are registered. Now, if for whatever reason you use BGP internally, there are some non-routable or non-peerable addresses that you can use, but for the most part, you're going to get an ASN through whatever RN, whatever Internet Assigned Registry of Numbers that you kind of fall under. You're going to get that number from them, and then you're going to peer up what they call peer with your tier 1 or your tier 2 provider. And again, these are not standard broadband connections or anything like this. I mean, the smallest line I've ever seen was a T1, and most times they're T3s, but you know, I have seen T1s connect up through these as well. But again, this is really big dog stuff. And when you're peered up with these folks, you'll use a lot of different terms in BGP. You use a terminology called speaking. I'm going to speak BGP, and when you speak it to other speakers, you're advertising the routes that are available, because BGP being so scalable and decentralized, understand, it's not like OSPF, right? Remember when you learned OSPF and you have a DR and you have a BDR, and they're basically very hierarchical, and they control the flow of how this information is flowing out, and you got stub networks, so on and so forth, because you're controlling how that flows and stuff. That doesn't work for the internet, man. It's got to be decentralized. And so to do that, those agreements are made per ISP. And so as we're setting this up, so let's say it's TechWiseTV.com, and I've got my tier 1 connections to multiple providers out there. Let's say that this one's AT&T, and then let's say that this one's British Telecom, and I want my traffic to flow in from the internet through AT&T and then out through British Telecom. That is when you'd want something like BGP, right? So to set this up, we set up these peering agreements, we can figure that out, we get our numbers from the RN and configure this, and we peer with these partners, and we speak to these folks, and we advertise the routes that the world knows how to get to us. Now I'm going to use 192.19.x.x. I know that that's not a route you can use, but just for the sake of simplicity. What this allows us to do, it allows everybody in the world, so this allows, Rob in Texas to connect through and get this information back out. That's what BGP does. It allows people to find us. It allows those type of massive connectivities to hundreds of thousands of servers that we have out here. And that's how it works. It's incredibly important on the internet. It is actually the glue. When you think of the World Wide Web, BGP is the webbing that holds all that stuff together, right? And you can actually look at, let me do a real quick screen change here real quick. Let me find my mouse, there we go. You can actually see some of this stuff through what's called Looking Glass servers. So this is one I like to go to, bgp.as, but you can actually just Google BGP Looking Glass servers, and it will tell you all the providers that you have, or you can see by, so these are big dogs, Quest, Hurricane, Level 3. I mean, these are the big dog providers that are appearing. And then you can click on their tab and look at what type of relation or what the status of their networks are out here by whatever parameters that you're looking for. All of them are available in this type of service. And so it's pretty darn high end. We really want people to be able to see the transparency inside of BGP. But the most important thing about this that I really want everybody to take away from a networking 101 is that BGP is a lot more, as you learn academically, that it's a distance vector protocol. And that is true, right? But it's as true as much as saying that anything with four wheels is a car, It's like, well, come on, there's some exceptions here. Yes, at its heart it does that stuff, but there's a lot more. We use a lot different terms and stuff. So start looking at, when you're looking at learning BGP, setting this up for exams, trying to get the feel for it, that this is a very enterprise ISP class type of protocol. You should be exposed to it. You need to know it and really get a feel for it. But there's a lot you can do, because remember, as I said in this example here, I'm controlling my traffic coming in and then leaving the network. And then I have all these different ways to confederate and set up and how this traffic is going to move, all that stuff. You got so many options to set this up. But again, you just can't randomly peer and do this stuff. These are pre-signed agreements because it is so decentralized that this is just not like, oh, almost have to someone peer with somebody, because it's got to be a two-way agreement. And you're doing this stuff kind of back and forth on the phone as you're configuring it to making sure you work. So don't be afraid of learning BGP and the complexities of it. It's really going to make you a lot better engineer and stuff. And truthfully, you ever get a chance to mess with your career or follow somebody that's actually really good at it and stuff, definitely take a look, because it is totally, totally worth it.